Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Superman and Lois Season 2. I gotta say, Season 2 is not as good as Season 1. I gave up on this show back when it first came out after a couple of episodes of the first season. Then, like I said, I recently watched Season 1 and I was amazed, and I see why people like it. It's not the greatest Superman show in the world, but it's the second best in my opinion. The action was great whenever we got action in Season 1. The characters are great. The plot is great. The twists and turns were great, and the CGI was amazing. Then you get to Season 2, and it's like I no longer finding myself on the edge of my seat wanting to watch the next episode, trying to see what's going to happen. I feel like the villain was very weak in this season. They did the whole twist switcheroony thing with the first villain, making people think it was Doomsday, but it was really Bizarro. But he really wasn't a Bizarro type like he is in the comics or the cartoons. It's just really just the inverse, and he's still technically a good guy, but he just made some mistakes in the past. Allie, in my opinion, was a terrible villain. Like, she just wasn't compelling whatsoever. And then after a while, I'm like, they keep calling her Parasite over and over and over. I'm like, oh, okay, she must be Parasite from the comic, which I didn't even know I didn't even know she was a Parasite from the comic, only because they had, like, completely changed the character from the comic book version and stuff. So I didn't know, like, who she was. I never heard of her before. And because I was wondering, I'm like, because it started off with the whole Lois, her, and Lucy thing. And I'm just like, where is this going and why is this a storyline? And then it tied into the overarching theme of the season 2. But then, to me, it just wasn't compelling. She just wasn't a good villain. She was just really weak as compared to season 1 villains and stuff. And Lucy, oh my God, dude. I was all like, what the world happened to Lucy? Like, I know Lucy's always been a pain in the butt in like the comics and like, other incarnations of her, but I've never seen Lucy Lane this terrible before. And I'm all like, who is this woman? And that's because it's set on a different earth from that of the Arrowverse Supergirl show. And so, like, I can understand people's frustrations with this and everything because, they lived with the Arrowverse for over a decade only to have the wool pulled under their eyes and stuff like that. I mean, I gave up on the Arrowverse years ago, but I still feel like all their shows should still be related and stuff. And once again, and I mean once again, and no disrespect to the actors, but the entire Cushion family, like Lana Lang and all them, get them off the show. Like, please just get them off the show. Give them their own spin-off family drama show. It would be perfect. They take up unnecessary time and space on this show. Every time they get into their family drama, I'm all like, why is this in the show? And I always fast forward when it's their parts and stuff. Also, their storyline this entire season made absolutely no sense to the overarching theme of like the entire show. At least when they was crammed in the first season, it made a little bit more sense, but it made absolutely no sense in the second season. I don't care if her husband, well, I do care about people cheating, but I don't care if her husband cheated on her. What does that have to do with the show? It's unnecessary. Just give them their own series. People will eat that up, especially if it's a family drama on the CW. And I could not believe how weak Superman felt in this season. Like in the first season, he was a little weak as well, doing stupid stuff, allowing Zod to go in his consciousness, and when he could have just zipped around his brother and whooped his behind, you know what I'm saying? But here, once again, he was super weak again. Now, Granted, Allie has some kind of magical powers and stuff like that, and magic does weaken them. But there are times where you see him going near green kryptonite and be totally okay. And, so it makes you wonder, like, how weak, how powerful are they? Because sometimes, like, he can beat up on another Kryptonian, sometimes he can't. He can be around Red Sun and be totally okay sometimes, and then sometimes he can be around Green Kryptonite and be totally okay. Also, I can't believe they brought back Tal-Rho and tried to redeem him. Like, no, this man tried to murder people in season 1. He tried to put other people's consciousness in people's brains against their will in season 1. Stop redeeming your villains. This is pissing me off about the CW and superhero crap in general. This is why I'm still not a Loki fan. Loki tried to murder folks and stuff. Then they brought back the whole X Kryptonite, which I just call Gold Kryptonite. And I'm just like, why are you bringing back Gold Kryptonite? And why are you bringing back Tal-Rho when their storylines are completely done from season 1? Now, there are some things, yes, I do like about this season. I still like the CGI, even though sometimes in the beginning it looked kind of video game-ish, but it was still good. But there was a lack of action this season, and that really drove me nuts. I'm just like, why is there a lack of action? Also, the pacing is still off with this show. A character will show up and then they won't show back up until halfway into like the season because they have too many characters on this show. There are just too many. The only characters they need to really focus on is the Kent family. And since they introduced Still into this, okay, fine. They should have a little bit good screen time too, but you shouldn't have to go 4 episodes without seeing them, Now, the introduction of Nally was great. She is perfect on this show. She fit in so well. She fits in well with her father and the boys. Like, she has great chemistry with both her dimensional brothers and stuff. It just felt so natural. She has great chemistry with Sarah and everything. I was always happy when I saw her on there. Only problem I have with her is that things in her storyline did not fall out the way I thought it was. Like, normally you expect this, and that to happen, and none of that stuff really happened. It was very rushed, and of course, it did the time gap of a couple of months. And I'm all like, no, I want to see that drama and everything. I want to know how it really affects her, because there was a lot of stuff going on with her and there was a lot of emotional stuff, and they just ran past it just to do this whole Allie storyline that was very boring, very weak and stuff. Christy got on my nerves this season. I still don't see a point in really having her on the show, and they keep trying to make her into kind of like this main type character when she's really just supporting this stuff. And then the thing that pissed me off the most was revealing Superman's secret. Oh my God, dude. I'm sick and tired of this modern day superhero crap where they keep revealing people's secrets, but they do it more in like the Arrowverse. And in fact, it's like the whole, it started with the whole Iron Man type thing, I guess you could say, but I think the Arrowverse was around during the Iron Man movie. And so it's just like the Arrowverse just did it a whole lot more and a whole lot faster than the MCU, I feel like. Because it's like every person knows every superhero person's secret. And it drives me nuts. Superman keeps his identity a secret for a very specific reason. He has too many villains, both human, metahuman, and alien, that could seriously mess his family up if, they found out who he is. And now all of a sudden this whole season's all like, oh, secrets, and oh, I can't keep this lie, and I'm having to lie to my family to keep your secret, and blah, 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 blah. And they told Christy, he told Lana Lang. I'm okay with him telling Lana a little bit, only because they dated back in the day. But then, Jonathan had to tell his secret to Sarah and all this other crap. And I'm just like, what is the deal with revealing this man's secret when you know how important it is to keep it and stuff? And so there's just a lot of dissets and dassets. that I feel like just didn't connect this season. I do like the look of Bizarro World. Like they couldn't do too much because they're on a TV budget, so it looked fine. I just kind of wished that like there was more of it, and that's probably where a lot of the CGI went. Just to like change the atmosphere and stuff, because there really wasn't that many CGI Superman stuff going on this season, and when it did happen, it either went by so fast or it was just kind of like, well, what the heck exactly am I looking at? Because I can't quite tell, you know what I'm saying? And so like it just made it kind of weird and jarring at times. And I don't know. It's just this season is okay. It just didn't really do it for me. Like the whole big thing was merging two worlds, and Allie just still just comes off as a weak villain, a two-dimensional, one-note villain and stuff. I don't like the redeemability of Tal-Rho. Like, dude tried to kill people. Stop trying to redeem him and stuff. But that little part at the end was funny, I will admit. I don't know. It's just this season just didn't do it for me. Now, when the two worlds were merging and it was like all that weird static looking stuff, that was kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just I don't know, man. It just this season just didn't really do it for me, to be completely honest. I will go into detail exactly what do I mean, but like it's just the thing about the first season. Even though the first season isn't 100% perfect, it still was beyond engaging. It was cool. It was like, wow. It got me back into this show. That's how good the first season is. Then watching this second season is just kind of like, well, I just don't care no more. And now the third season's coming up next month. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'll probably watch it because who knows whenever I'll get like HBO Max again. I just like did a new plan. I get 50% off, so that's great. But it's for like 3 months, 50% off. But it's kind of like I'm almost done watching everything I have to watch. So I'm trying to find new stuff on there to watch. And like I'm really hoping Titans and Doom Patrol hurry up, so within the next 3 months or so, And so like also I felt like Superman was just really lame kind of this season. Like this Superman always makes dumb decisions, I've noticed, and that really bothers me. Like it bothers me a lot. And the whole thing going on with, I'll go into detail about that later. But anyway, let me just start off with some of the things that pretty much just happened and the character stuff and, things like that. So I give you a better understanding on what I mean and stuff. Because it's just, my head is just boggled. Because I'm just kind of like, this season had more episodes. But I felt like less was done. They tried to keep the plot kind of simple, but a little too simple. Okay, so Natalie, like I said before, she was really great, a great addition to this show. I really liked the actress, I really liked her character, but a lot of stuff didn't really happen the way I thought it would with her. So she showed up at the end of the first season, and she was happy to see Lois thinking her mom's alive. But Lois is just kind of like, I can't deal with this right now. Like, bye, like I'm out. Like, peace be with you, I'm out. And I was like really shocked by that because Lois didn't want nothing to do with her. And so I was thinking, okay, so this is going to be really interesting. Because instead of being kind of like, oh, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm sorry you lost your mom, but I'm not her, Lois just like split. So I'm thinking, man, it's going to be some juicy drama. Well, all the juicy drama happened 4 months later, and we never got to see it. That was a huge missed opportunity. It would have been nice to see what exactly happened. Well, apparently, from what we are told, Lois actually did come around and she did try to be in Natalie's life, but now Natalie doesn't want nothing to do with her. And Natalie's having a hard time adjusting to this new world because she's about to start school soon, and all her old friends from back in her universe or on this universe, but they, of course, they have no idea who she is, and so she can't even talk and console with them and stuff. So it's really difficult for her to be on this world, and it's causing problems between her and her dad. All of this stuff that happened 4 months ago would have been great to see, but they completely skipped over it, and that really pisses me off. And so when she is at school, she actually gets along very well with Jonathan and Jordan and stuff. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, she's cool with them, but like she's not cool with Lois or Superman and stuff. And so that's cool. And she gets along very well with Sarah. Well, after that, they don't have a place to live because they're living, I think, in their van. And so Lois them let them stay with them. So you think, okay, there's going to be some drama here and there. Well, not really. She doesn't really like Superman, of course, and because she doesn't trust him, because the last time she saw him, he murdered her mom on that evil world. Well, not so much an evil world, but that evil version of Superman. So it would have been great to see the drama between her not liking Superman, but having to live underneath his roof. And we still really don't even get that because they really don't interact with each other. Until her father is hurt trying to help Superman out. He still has his armor and stuff. It's when her dad gets so hurt, then we see the anger she has towards Superman, but it's only in that one episode, and then she completely disappears for 4 episodes later. Then she shows back up and everything's like okay again, and she states that she's not even mad at Superman, she's just mad at the entire situation. So I'm just like, dude, all this juicy drama they could have given us, and they didn't. Now it would have been cliche, but who cares? It would have been great. So other than that, she wants to be a superhero as well. She wants to build her own armor. Of course, her dad will not let her. So she does it anyway. Now, they did the whole modern day female stronger than male thing because her armor is stronger than her dad's. How? It's the same exact armor, only this is what's weird. She took kryptonite, gold kryptonite, crushed it up and put it in a spray form, and she sprayed it over her suit. So it's it's like spray painting her suit, but you can't really, it's not turning gold, it's just a clear thing, and that makes her suit super stronger. How? The things they do with kryptonite this season make absolutely no sense. Now, Smallville had kryptonite in almost every episode, and they had some innovative ways to use it, and it was cool. Here, it just happens, and even though it wasn't really explained that much in Smallville, at least you understood instead of just being bewildered and stuff. So her dad wants her to destroy the suit, but he can't because she put that extra layer on there. But it just proves that she is smarter than him, and her suit is more powerful than him. I don't mind if she's powerful. I don't mind if she's smart. But what I'm tired of modern day stuff is that having the male be stupid and the female be smarter, and the female be stronger and the male be weaker and stuff. It gets very annoying, and this plays out a lot this season doing that and stuff, and it becomes very, very annoying at times. But in a way, she does help her father out. There's a nice little scene when she's trying to get the gold kryptonite with her, Jordan, and Jonathan in the cave, and then the cave's about to crash down on them. So whichever I forget which is which. The curly haired one saves them, and then they're all well, did anybody get my bag with the kryptonite? They're like, whoops. So they have to go back in there and get it. So that's a cute little moment. Like I said before, she has great chemistry with those guys, but they never call each other brothers and sisters. They do towards the end say they're family, but that's about it, Then when her dad goes on almost like a kamikaze type mission, she has to be the one to rescue him and everything. And of course her suit is just what he needs and the thing that she needs and this and that. And they basically save the day. And we do get a nice little scene what happens when she did come to this world, because she left right after he did, but she got suspended in space because her shuttle pod was damaged. So she was put in hibernation until the repairs were done on the ship. The AI did it itself and stuff. And so even towards the middle and the end, her and Lois never really interact. She gets irritated when her dad is flirting with Lana Lang, and she talks to Sarah about it. But other than that, her and Lois do not interact like whatsoever in this entire season. And it's just kind of weird, you know what I'm saying? Because they are a dimensional daughter and mother, and you think there'll be something, or you think like, maybe she'll save Lois' life or something like that, but it just doesn't happen, and it's a missed opportunity. Now, John, he is pretty much the partner of Superman. They go together, they fight crime, and whenever Superman is away, he takes up the slack and he helps save the day. He saved, God, which brother is which? Which is Jordan and which is Jonathan? I think Jordan is the one with the curly hair. Or is it the, I don't know. I'll just say curly haired one. So the curly haired one, he saves his life one time because he decided, oh, I got powers. I'm going to be like a little Superboy and save the day. But then he ends up screwing up. And so basically, this is all John does the entire season. He picks up the slack for Superman when Superman is away. His suits get like damaged really bad. His suit is always getting damaged, which is annoying and everything. But they have some really cool, they have a really cool scene where he like, armors up and everything. It's very Iron Man-ish. Well, of course, like Bizarro and Ally take his suit out. Bizarro beats him up so bad to where, he's in a coma for a long time. When he wakes up, he thinks he's married to Lois, but then realizes, oh, wait, he's not. He flirts with Lana Lang. He argues with his daughter. And then it gets to be a little too complicated to where they move out and Superman gives them a place to stay. I think it belonged to Jimmy or something like that. I can't remember. And so, like, that's where they live, but it's like a beat up, rundown house. And they never really fix it up. They just like build their armors and work on it there. And so, like, when Allie's trying to merge the world, she's in between, like this, Nexus type place, and so between worlds, and so he goes there to stop her. His hammer is pretty good at like whacking her and stuff, but then like she just whoops on him really bad, and then like his suit's adrift, and he calls Nellie, and then she comes in and helps save the day. And that's basically it for him until the end, because they had to have something for him to do the third season, because now it's at the point where him and Nellie really don't need to be on the show, and they could have their own spin-off show. But of course, the CW is not going to do that. But I would prefer it, because there's really no point now for them being on the show, especially when they had nothing for him to do. So John Diggle just happens to show up again, even though he's not the one we know from the Arrowverse show. And he's all like, the John Henry Irons was murdered on this world by some guy from Intergang. And so we need to find out why. So he gives him a briefing on that. So this is going to be his plot now in season 3, which is going to be probably different. But they're going to find a way to smush them together between the main plot and everything else. So, yeah. Christy is getting on my nerves this season. She is pissy at Lois because Lois won't tell her everything, and she doesn't understand why. Also, Lois kept some things from her. When Lois was doing research on the Ally thing in the cult, she left some information out. So now Christy's all like, "Oh, you can't be trusted." Lies, lies, lies is the big theme this season. And so this causes conflict between the two. And then she goes undercover to the whole Ally thing when she's drugged, and she finds out what's going on. So she helps the plot going by finding out that she's able to see what's going on in that bizarre world with her other self. So then some more stuff like, oh, Lois, tell me stuff, blah, blah, blah. So then Lois tells her at the very end, hey, my husband's Superman. What in the world, man? You don't give that secret away and everything. Like, especially to a woman who works for a freaking newspaper of all things, who's not related to the characters. She's just a friend of Lois who happens to work at her and gets pissed at her and always wants to quit every time she gets mad at Lois. Seriously, I don't understand the writing. So the entire Lane family, basically, Lucy was in a cult and still is back in the day. She believes that Allie is the one and they're going to transverse to like the other world and merge with their other self. Because once they drink the tea that knocks them out, they put the little weird pendant thing on them and then they can see everything in that bizarro world. What's weird about that is like there are other dimensions in this on the multiverse. So why do they always go to that one? And if Allie wants to merge both worlds and everybody be so powerful, what about the other multiverse worlds? So that's not really explained that well, and that's why I really don't like this season. So basically, she's constantly betraying her father and her sister left and right. And so, Lois is always trying to be that mother figure to Lucy, and Lucy doesn't want it because Lucy is a wild child. Wilder than I've ever seen any version of her, wilder than the Smallville version and stuff. I don't remember how she was on Supergirl, but my God, this kind of should have been a hint that this isn't like the Arrowverse and stuff. And so like she betrays all of them. She constantly, she even betrays Superman to them, to Allie and everything. And so the only thing that snaps her out of it is Allie hurting her father. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, I did a bad thing. And I must I feel so sorry now. And it's like, really, all these years you've been following this cult leader and it took her hurting your dad to snap you out of it, even though you drugged your own father and betrayed everybody? Like, seriously, I don't understand. Like, that was some good writing, the fact that she's shady, but it's just so out there. And I was just like, where was this going in the beginning? Because in the beginning, they were just talking about how Lucy's in a cult and Lois is trying to save her. But then I didn't know the Allie story was tied to everything else until it was. Tal-Rho, they brought him back for some bizarre reason. And so when Superman needs help with the Bizarro Superman, he asks for Tal-Rho's help. And so they take him back to Tal-Rho Fortress because Clark's fortress, even though it's still intact, the crystal is broken. So they keep going to Tal-Rho's thing for everything. Tal-Rho has the crystal of their mom. So it's cool to see the mom, Laura, I think that's her name, and everything. So, of course, she's favoring Clark more than she is Tal-Rho, and that pisses him off. Well, of course, he betrays Superman, of course, and him and whichever the curly-haired son is, they fight. And so then he's locked back up. Then, all of a sudden, they need his help again to destroy the pendant, and now all of a sudden, he's all like, all right, fine, I'll turn good. I'll help you defeat this Allie woman. Oh, wait, I have a wife in the other dimension? This is interesting. Who is she? So all of a sudden, after this dude literally tried to murder everybody and put other people's consciousness in people, all of a sudden now the writers are all like, let's forgive him. I hate that about modern superhero crap and modern fairy tale stuff. Stop trying to redeem your villain. When they go around murdering tons of people, that is not cool. And stop trying to redeem them and everything. And so basically he helped save the day, and I don't know how he was able to buy this, because where does he get the money from? His money should have been taken from him once he got arrested, but he buys both the boys' monster trucks. Then he heads over into Bizarro World looking for his wife, Lana Lang. But it turns out she's now in the real reality and everything locked up. And so now he's in Bizarro World and like he's just there. Now this is the weird thing. He's able to understand everything people say in the Bizarro World, but he should not be able to because they speak backwards. It does that crap a lot this season. Sometimes they can understand what they're saying and sometimes they can't. It's really inconsistent. Anderson is the new head of DOD. And I could not believe who it is played by. I think his name is Ian Bowen or something like that. He was the original young Hercules from Hercules, the Legendary Journeys. He was the one in the older Hercules show with all the flashbacks. He was supposed to get his own series, Young Hercules, on Fox Kids, but he didn't want to live in New Zealand for a whole year. And so because of that, he skipped out. And Ryan Gosling took over the role as young Hercules, and it lasted for one season only because Saban made it a little too juvenile at times. It had that same feel as Hercules and Xena, but the budget was slashed and they tried to make it more for kids, and it just didn't work. And so, like, plus, a lot of the older adults who watched Hercules and Xena had no idea this was on a kid's show, so a kid's network. So they just didn't watch it, you know? And I remember I was unable to watch it because it came on when I was at school. Why in the world would you put a kid's program that teenagers are supposed to watch on when they're at school? That made no sense. I need to talk about that show one day. Anyway, he's the new head of the DOD, and he does not like Superman whatsoever. Only because Superman will not tell him everything. Because, of course, you know, he has secrets, and he doesn't like that. He also doesn't like when Superman saves people around the world and not just America. And so he has his own elite force of like enforcers, like at least 3 or 4 people. They're dressed in some of the cheapest costumes I've ever seen. My God, these suits are cheap, but he put the S symbol on their chest. And Superman's like, that's not yours to give away, but he did it anyway. Why in the world would he give them that symbol if he hates Superman so much? Now, one thing Anderson is doing is making gold kryptonite for people to inhale like a drug. It gives them Superman powers temporarily. And so with that, some people got their hands on it and they're shipping it out to, like, you know, to sell as drugs. And so because of this, he is very paranoid of Superman, and he keeps making mistakes left and right. One of the hugest mistakes he makes is that he aligns himself with Allie. When he knows that Superman has that pendant and Allie wants it, he does not trust Superman, and for whatever reason, now he has turned sides. He is constantly inhaling the drug, turning more evil and stronger, to where he even fights Superman and stuff. It's like, I don't understand why he turned evil all of a sudden. So he aligns himself with Allie. His other self says, don't give Allie the pendant, because apparently Allie is evil. So he goes over into the other world by himself. His other self is killed. And then it turns out he gets double crossed. He gets scared and he starts looking for, like, you know, Lois Lane and everything so she can get in touch with Superman. But of course, he's in that bizarre world. And so when Superman finally does go in that bizarre world, they work together to try to stop Allie and them, only for him to get killed. Makes no freaking sense. His entire story plot makes no sense. I get that he is a shady military dude who has people working for him that are teenagers that's shady just to begin with, but they made him even shadier when instead of protecting the world, he now wants to help destroy it and align himself with the supervillain, only for him to get scared and now want to align himself with Superman. Where is the writing this season? I do not know. All right, I don't know which son this is. It's the non-haired, curly-haired one. It's the one with no powers. Basically, he is pissy. He's still feeling sad he doesn't have powers. He feels that his father likes his brother a whole lot more than him, and he's just feeling left out. And it's to the point where it causes conflict between him and Clark. It's even to the point when he finds out his girlfriend is supplying guys at school, like in the football team, with drugs, because now, here's the thing. His girlfriend is a drug dealer. Their family is poor, living from trailer park to trailer park. So now they're trying to say, hey, selling drugs is bad, but if you have a good reason, it's okay. I hate when TV shows do that. She's bad. All right, selling drugs is bad. So he starts taking the X-Kryptonite and he starts gaining powers. He lies to his brothers all like, oh, I just now got powers and they're kicking in and everything. But then it's later revealed that, you know, he is taking drugs. As a result, he gets kicked off the team and now everybody at school hates him and stuff because the whole team is like suspended and this and that. Basically, his whole thing is he just feels left completely out. He doesn't feel special. Every time he sees Jordan doing stuff with Clark or doing something with their grandfather or going to the fortress, it makes him feel inferior and everything. And so I like how they built on that from the last season because, I could easily see him turning into a villain. Now, in the Bizarro world, he's the one with powers and the other one is not. And he is bad. He is evil. When he kills for the first time, he's upset, but then he gets okay with it. So they do interact very briefly. And it is shown that when two people from different dimensions meet, they have headaches and everything. That's good because that was set up in the Arrowverse. And so his evil personality is dressed like Superboy from the comics, the classic comics, the red pants, the black leather jacket. The red pants just look weird. I'm sorry, they just do. They just do. But he is as evil can come. He's always fighting the other twin with the powers. He fights Superman at times. He gets his butt kicked to the point where it's like, he is now locked up on Earth. So he's going to be revisited in season 3. Curly haired brother, basically, he is at the point where he is starting to train secretly with his grandfather. He wants to start being a vigilante. He's learning how to fly, even though he can't land very well. And he's getting this urge to just want to be like a hero. It pisses his mom off to death when he finds out his brother is taking drugs. And then the mom finds out, like, they both get grounded, this and that. But then, of course, his brother will not rat out his girlfriend. Now, later on, his actual father starts teaching him how to train and use his powers. Now, the thing with him this season is that he wants to tell Sarah about his powers, but he can't. And that upsets him. It causes conflict between him and Clark. And so it turns out his girlfriend Sarah cheated on him at summer camp. She kissed another girl. And that breaks his heart. They have a bit of a conflict after that, but then he's all like, I love her. I want to marry her. Dude, you've only been dating her for like a semester, a year at the most, and already you want to get married to her? Like, seriously, young love, man. I swear it's stupid. Anyways, so he's a fool this season. He got cheated on, and he still wants to be with his girlfriend. He gets cheated on, and his girlfriend wants him, her, and the girl she cheated with to all be friends. And so that hurts him because he's kind of like, dude, like, I don't feel comfortable and everything. But she's like, why not? That's my friend. So, but he's still a fool to like love her and everything. And they still continue to date, but they're on and off this entire season. And so when evil Lana Lang and evil other brother comes in from the other world, he finally reveals himself and to like, Sarah. Now, here's the problem. They was broken up. And when Lana found out about Superman, because he reveals his secret to her, she doesn't want nothing to do with the Kent family. And she tells curly haired dude, stay away from my daughter because it's just too much to deal with right now because your secret could get her like killed and stuff. He begs, he pleads, but she's unrelenting. She will not allow it. And so then, Sarah, I'll get to her a little bit later, something she says that bugs me. In a way, they get back together towards like the end of like, the season. And Sarah finally apologizes for cheating because she never did it the entire freaking season. And it's almost like, let's just get into her now. Now, Sarah, boom, I just said it. She cheated. She kissed. And she wants her boyfriend to hang out with her cheating like lover and stuff. Now, I am glad if they're gonna go the cheating route, then at least they went the female cheating route. Because how often do you see females cheat in the show? It's normally the men. I'll get into that later. And so like, it doesn't make no sense. If she really cares about what's his name, why would she even cheat and everything? And she doesn't say, she feels bad, but she doesn't feel bad because she can confide in Natalie, but she doesn't. Instead, she confides in like the girl that she cheated with, and they're all supposed to be friends. How are they supposed to get along? Seriously. So, anyways, her whole world is rocked when she finds out her father's a cheater too. She doesn't want nothing to do with him. She hates him. He messes up her quinceanera, and so then she later forgives him because hey, let's forgive the cheaters, because that's supposed to be a life lesson. You're supposed to forgive people who cheat. I hate that lesson they try to teach on TV shows. So anyway, basically towards the end when things start happening between the mom and the dad and the world's merging and this and that, she finally apologizes to curly haired dude, and she realized that she was truly wrong and all this other stuff. But here's the problem: when her mom tells her, like, because Sarah's all like, oh my god, I can't believe my ex had like superpowers. She's like, wait, hold up, you didn't even flinch, so that means you must have knew. So then her mom finally reveals that yeah, she knew. So then she's mad at her mom, and then she says this word, she said, oh, this phrase, she's all like, if I would have known, I would have never. She didn't even finish. What she was gonna say is, if she would have known he had superpowers, she would have never broken up with him. Seriously, I don't understand that. Like, what kind of girl is this? And everything. Ooh, but let's get into the parents. I said before, and I'll say it again. Get them off the show and put them on their own spin-off show, and let it be a family drama. They always cram this family into the show, and I just fast forward every time they start talking. Well, it turns out that because of the last stuff in the last season with the mayor, the husband has decided to elect his wife to run against that dude. And this is kind of odd because I'm kind of like, well, how come the husband didn't elect himself? Because remember in the last season, he was all about bettering himself and getting ahead of the game and, being in a higher position. What more higher position is there in your city than that of a mayor? So I don't understand why he didn't pick himself, but he picked his wife. He had to give her something to do this season. Why? Because what he did was he cheated for months and months and months. And he only stopped when his daughter got into that car accident. When the mom finds out, she does the smart thing and she breaks up with him. Thank God. Stop teaching this thing of staying with your cheaters. So anyways, so those two are having conflict with each other and everything. And it's to the point where, here's the thing, when Sarah cheated, they tried to make her be like, oh, but she's a sweet, innocent girl. When he cheats, they make him look like the dirty, no good dog. I hate this. See, I was okay when Sarah cheated because, girls don't really cheat in shows. But then when they had her father cheat, I'm like, oh, so great. Now you're making the man look like the dog. And that's what they did. And they made him look like the worst cheater than that of the daughter. And I hate that crap. That's that modern male versus female thing. Have a balance. We need a balance, people. We need a balance in storytelling. One should not be better than the other. So anyways, his wife has truly said, screw it. I am done. No matter what you try to do to get me back, I'm not getting back with you. And she truly leaves his behind. Now, for her, she ends up winning being mayor. My only problem with that is, when was she ever qualified to run a city? It's never been shown. In fact, in the season 1 and 2, what was her job? I think she was a stay-at-home mom, I think. And so, they literally gave her that to give her something to do. Now, the biggest conflict with her is that Clark has finally decided to tell her his secret. She is pissed. And even she utters the phrases, oh my God, like I could have been because she knows she could have been married to Superman. And so she's pissed. She's pissed at him for never telling. She's pissed at Lois because Lois never told. And Lois literally became friends with her in season 1 and kept this from her. And so this totally explains a lot, and she just can't handle it and everything. Like, she could have been Mrs. Superwoman and everything, or whatever you call it. And so, because of that, they just don't talk no more until the end, when the townspeople turn against her because she won't tell what's going on with the merging of the worlds, and he helps her out. And so, and then, of course, when he saves, the city and all this other stuff and blah, 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 now they're back to being friends and, all this other stuff. And I do like the fact that she did overreact because I'm glad she didn't be all like, oh, wow, you're a Superman. We're still friends. No, she was straight up pissed because she was dating Superboy the whole time and never knew it. And she could have been married to Superman. So I do like that dynamic of her being mad at him and stuff. And I do like the fact that she told the curly haired son, stay away from the daughter because your secret can help kill us and everything, you know? Now, on that other world, her doppelganger takes like, the green kryptonite to become like stronger and everything. And she goes on a murderous, well, tries to go on a murderous rampage of killing like, Lana and all these other people. She gets her butt kicked and now she's in prison. So she'll probably be brought up next season and she's married to Tal-Rho. Lois really doesn't do much other than being a nagging wife, a nagging mother, and a nagging sister. Other than that, she really doesn't do anything. Her father ends up taking back over the DOD when Anderson ends up dead and turning rogue and everything. She gets mad at him for teaching her son how to like fight and everything and trying to be a superhero because he literally is like, we need to I think it's Jordan. We need to activate Jordan. She's like, activate. Like, no. She also does some, like I said this before, I love it when she plays bad cop to the sons. She is mean and everything, and I love it. Now, I still like, how Clark and Lois interact with each other. And like one time, I forget what it was, they had to go do something, but they didn't want to do it. So they played paper, rock, scissors with each other. And that was so unexpected. And the way they did it. So I like those little touching moments. Now, as for her bizarro self, pretty much she doesn't have a husband no more because, he's over in the other world. Her and Jonathan don't get along. And so when the world is flickering back and forth and the world's merging and people are transporting from world to world, she goes over to the other world, asks what's going on, but like, the other Kent family can't speak backwards. So as all the family drama is going on with like, the Kent family, and the world's emerging and people are freaking out. She's just there standing there looking, doesn't say nothing, doesn't try to like, try to speak to them again. She doesn't try to write to them, write backwards, nothing. She just stands there. So what was the point for her teleporting to their world if she's not going to do nothing, And it was just like weird. She just stood there and looked at them. Allie is Parasite from the comics, but she doesn't go by that name. In fact, they just keep calling her that over and over. She's like, she takes people powers like a parasite and blah blah stuff like that. So anyway, when she was a little girl, she inherited a pendant from like her father. She took it and everything stuff like that. She's the leader of a cult, and when she put the pendant on, you can literally see your doppelganger in the other world, and it makes you have this weird experience. She thinks it's like a holy place, and they're gonna merge and everything. So her whole thing is wanting to merge with her other self. She does all this bad stuff and is finally able to do it. She convinces so many people, even the military, to help her out. When she does finally go into the other world, she merges and she becomes so strong, she's almost like a godlike being almost. She's so powerful that she can whoop on Superman just by absorbing his solar energy. She never has to hit him or nothing. Basically, when you try to hit her, she's able to dodge it and she just absorbs your power. Then she was able to absorb the energy out of John's suit. And so because of this, Superman is literally weak. He's basically human towards the end of the series and everything, or season. And that's her whole thing. She just wants to merge both worlds together and merge all the people and then be a ruler. But then when she starts to merge for herself, she realizes, oh wait, I need energy to survive. So she just starts draining people of their energy, but only Superman, because he has a lot. She is a one-dimensional no villain who gets taken out when Superman Ubers up and punches the daylights out of her, separating them both and everything. And that is literally it. That is her big evil plan. She just wants to merge both worlds. And that to me is just not good enough. Like, it's really not. Like, she's not really evil. She's just brainwashed in her own cult like ways and everything, you know? And she was just a lame villain. And of course, she has people murdered because, you know, why not? She's evil. Now, when she merges, she, of course, turns more evil and crap. But she was a lame villain this season. So Superman this season, basically, he is having these weird like attacks and everything in his mind, like kind of almost like a panic attack kinda, and he's having these severe headaches and everything because he doesn't know why. So it's a mystery, and it's causing him to screw up when he's trying to save people's lives. Well, eventually he sees the person who it is. The creators made us think it's Doomsday because they wore the Doomsday costume that Doomsday wear when he arrives on Earth and rips it off. But it's not Doomsday, thank God, because I do not want to see Superman die from Doomsday again. It is Bizarro, and it's like, what? So I'm like, cool, man, Bizarro. So what's his deal? He's not even really evil, to tell you the truth. He just lost his ways. Basically, on Bizarro World, it's kind of cool. Their world is like a square cube. Their sun is a square cube. It's like a red sun. Their world has like a red filter to it. And over there, everybody knows Superman's super identity. He's like a rock star. And so him and the one son that on our world didn't have powers, but now has powers on that one, they don't get along and this and that. And Superman wants to be more powerful than what he is, so he starts inhaling green kryptonite because green kryptonite makes him stronger. So it causes his face to crack and all this other crap. And that's why he looks like Bizarro. So it's not really so much the real Bizarro. It's just this is why he gets his appearance and everything. And so it's funny seeing him in his world making breakfast for the sons and stuff like that, or lunches or whatever they're doing in his day. Then he finds out about the whole alley thing. He tries to stop her. He comes to the other world trying to, like, you know, get the other pendant and destroy it. But he's having visions of the good Superman. This causes good Superman to start acting kind of mean towards his son. His laser visions are coming out, this and that. When they interact, they fight, and so eventually he's able to subdue him. He's able to take him back to the fortress, talk to his mom, and it turns out what's really all going on. He has to stop Allie, and he's willing to kill him and everything. So Anderson ends up killing him and everything. So like when he goes to the other world. Now, to make the headache stop, every time he's in contact with Superman, the necklace absorbs like Superman into him. They're merging and everything. And so like when he's dead, the headaches will stop, and then other people in like the other world. So Superman has to go there, right? Well, I still don't know how he did this because it happened so fast, but I do like the way he did it, and it shows how smart he is. You have to have a suit, like a containment suit, to go on to the other world. But he doesn't have it. He could just took that lady's containment suit, but he doesn't. So he flies around the cave in the circle really fast. All the rocks start like forming around him, making it into like a rock suit. And then he goes into the other world. Now, one day that passes on his world, a month passes in Bizarro world. So he's there, he's trying to figure out everything that happened. He tries to stop Allie. And they are able to destroy the pendant on his world, but then Allie has now merged and it doesn't really matter. So in a way, it takes him like a whole month to get back to, like, you know, his reality. And in his reality, you know, John Henry's been taking up the slack. And so basically he has to stop Allie from the worlds merging, but of course he's not able to do it because she drains him all of his solar energy. His mom tells him it's just going to take a while for it to come back, similar to how it was when he came to Earth. It took him at the age of 4 to gain powers. He can't wait that long, so he tells Tal-Rho to slingshot him into the sun and he'll absorb as much energy as he can. So it's kind of like All-Star Superman. So he does it, and it's like a really cool scene. He's getting absorbed by all the solar radiation of like the yellow sun. well, since he's in his human state, I'm surprised it did not kill him. And so anyway, he's super ubered up and he's glowing here and there around his body. And so he's super strong, he's super fast, he's able to take out Allie with one punch, and it separates the two. And so then he flies around both worlds. Well, both worlds are basically merged this time. And so he flies around them in a circle really fast. And I have no idea what's going on. And I have no idea how he stopped them from merging. Because it's never explained. But it reminds me of that first Superman, or that one Superman movie where he goes back in time and saves Lois. And so then he flies around really fast and then he crash lands into the ground, hitting it in a very cool CGI kind of way. And then all of a sudden, both worlds separate. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So it's not really explained that well. Now, when the worlds were merging, things just kept flickering left and right, and people kept disappearing, and they would go on to each other's world and stuff. So that made for some interesting time, but they didn't really make it last that long. So that kind of sucks and everything. And like, but it was nice seeing everything flicker and people going back and forth, but it could have used better CGI, but that's all they could do. And so this is basically just the season. And so him and his family get on a boat and they head out to the water, and he builds a family fortress of solitude that's more in the traditional shape of the movies and the animated series with the crystal, ice crystals and stuff. And I don't know how it formed ice crystals in like the water, because it's supposed to take the shape of whatever environments it's in. But hey, I'm cool with the original look because I love it and everything. And of course, he introduces his mom to like his family and stuff like that. And then we go on to the next season. Now, unlike All-Star Superman, he should have absorbed so much radiation that it's slowly killing him, but it doesn't show that at the end of this season. I'm hoping it does it for the next season, because then it could end. Because if this does end the series, because of the whole merger and stuff, that'd be a nice way to end it. He has to do everything he wants to do. He has to save the world, and then it's the radiation slowly kills him, and then he has to like save the sun. That would be great, but who knows if they'll do that. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.